G'day guys, welcome back to another Collingwood review on the channel, and today I'll be reviewing Collingwood's 33-point loss to the Sydney Swans that occurred last night, and let's jump straight into the review. So another frustrating performance from the boys, and I think you clearly have to say it. You have to give everyone a goddamn whack after that performance. You have to. It was just horrible. Absolutely horrible. So disappointing to watch. We just did not do anything right, did we? It's just so disappointing. We got so unlucky. The Swans were just better than us all night, really. And it was our special night as well, flag unveiling, and, celebrations, first game of the MCG since, winning the flag, and, it was supposed to be a special night, and, it wasn't really, because we only had the lead for, I want to say, a good 5 minutes for the whole game. Sydney were just way better than us for the whole entire game, and look, we probably should have lost by a lot more in the end. 33 points, definitely, flat as us, seeming we scored 28 points in the last quarter to their 20, which was similar to what happened last week against the Giants. But we were really, really disappointing. Just players looking lackluster, and you just have to say it. You got to give everyone a whack for their performances. Like, some boys were just ghosting. Like, some who ghosted last week ghosted again. Ash Johnson, what are you doing, mate? I literally made a video on you saying that he's going to have a breakout year. I'm very, very confident. He has to be dropped after that performance. He was absolutely rubbish. 3 touches, got 2 last week. He got subbed out of this game at 3/4 time. It's not good enough. I simply think he has to be dropped after a performance like that. We will probably have to change up our lineup as well. You would assume after, playing like that. We just got really unlucky at times, but, it's a good team, filled with experience that should be, not being able to get smashed. And look, we didn't get smashed, but we should have. And I feel like that should have happened last week as well. But then again, the amount of times Sydney got some lucky goals, and again last week GWS got some as well. So then again, Sydney, they were inaccurate. If they didn't get all those lucky goals, it would have been closer perhaps. But no, it probably wouldn't have been, because Sydney were way better than us. We didn't deserve to be anywhere near them. And when I talk about those unlucky goals, I mean Darcy Moore, Pendlebury, Markov, Charlie Dean, probably the whole team, just going for a kick or a handball, or not seeing the player behind them, being run down, or being, kicking it into the opposition, and then handballing it straight to them, and then they just kick it over the top, and someone's waiting in the goal square, like McInerney, Wicks was it, Fox, and McDonald. And they just kept on doing that. And it was just so frustrating. And it's just not Collingwood-like, is it? Conceding that many goals from turnovers. I think we conceded almost all of our goals from turnovers. It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. Boys have to do better than that. And it's our defence. I'm not specifically looking at most people, except maybe Charlie Dean. And I know, he's a first-year player. Well, he's not really. He's first-year player. He's only played 2 games. I don't know who he played on last week. Maybe someone could tell me in the comments. But I made sure before the game that I knew who he was going to be on. He was on Logan McDonald. Logan McDonald kicked 4 on him and missed 2 that he really should have kicked. So that should have been a bag of 6 to Logan McDonald. I'm sorry. Charlie Dean, not good enough. Absolutely not good enough. We're going to have to probably bring Briley Frampton in for him. That is just not good enough. Imagine next week when he's playing on a Tim Memory or a Max King. Far out. Like, that's just not good enough from him. And the thing is, we're playing Darcy Moore, right, as our key defender. And then Maynard and Quainer as our two intercepts, with Howe as well. It only leaves Charlie Dean. Nathan Murphy's concussion has left a huge hole in this back line, and I think some people need to realise it. I think it's Charlie Dean's fault mostly, but you can't blame one player, can you? Darcy Moore, he was off last night. He knows it. And he, as captain and as a leader of this football club, has to respond from that. Jeremy Howe didn't quite get going either. We moved him to the forward line in the last quarter and had some moments. So who knows? Maybe we try doing that if we're losing to the Saints by heaps and heaps at half-time next week. Braden Maynard was probably the best of our defenders. Quainer had some moments, but then again, he had some moments that he would have liked to take back, like when he went for the switch into the middle of the ground, but his kick missed, I think, Josh Dacos by 15 metres. It was ridiculous. And that happened quite a lot. So maybe we need to, get better at our kicking and, all things that we've done in the past, and we just didn't get into our forward 50 a lot. Literally, I'm going to give all the forwards a whack, and I know it mostly wasn't their fault, but it was a team effort. The midfielders just couldn't get it to them. And because the midfielders just weren't applying enough pressure, our defence just looked horrible. It looked... I'm saying this, no offence to North fans, but it was a North Melbourne defensive effort, that game. It was ridiculous. It was horrible. It was disgusting. We need to get better. That was a feral performance from our defence. Absolutely feral. But our pressure as well was absolutely ridiculous. It was just nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. We're not physical enough. I'm looking at the leaders of this football club. Pendlebury, Sidebottom, Josh Dacos. He's been at this football club for long enough to know how to apply pressure. I'm very annoyed as well that, we moved a Goey forward and Crisp into the midfield. Get a Bo McCreary or a Jamie Elliott or even a Lockie Schultz, who just did not touch the ball at all except when they kicked a goal. Just get those guys into the midfield who can spark us up with their pressure, especially Lockie Schultz and Bo McCreary. Jamie Elliott was ridiculously bad. He just could not get anywhere near the football. Will Hoskin-Elliott had one of his stupid games where he does nothing. It's ridiculous what this was. I'm giving everyone a whack, and the only player who I think I haven't mentioned, who I haven't given a whack in this game so far, was Nick Dacos. He was absolutely superb. Absolutely superb. And he has been ever since he walked through the doors into this football club. Bobby Hill as well, I forgot to mention. Myercheck did nothing. Elliott, McCreary, Lipinski, Schultz, Cox, Hoskin-Elliott, Bobby Hill. It's ridiculous. It's just unacceptable from our forward line. No touches in there. You blame the midfield, though. You have to blame the midfield. Pendlebury, whenever he got the ball, did something, but he just did not get enough of it. I'm literally giving our whole team here a whack, except for Nick Dacos. The only other player who I could probably give credit to in these first 2 weeks that played somewhat well, he played really well last week and played somewhat well last night, was Darcy Cameron. And he's bloody Darcy Cameron. I'm not saying anything, but Darcy Cameron, in my opinion, is probably, the worst player. And this is no offence to him, but it's kind of true. He's probably the worst player in our 23. Finlay McRae was the sub and had some nice moments, but he was the substitute. Play him next time. Tom Mitchell was managed. Just say he was injured. There's something going wrong at the club. No one's got the will to win anymore. That mentality is clearly gone because we're just not trying. There's no pressure. Our defence was horrific and we just couldn't get it into our forward line. I know I'm giving everyone a whack here, and everyone looked rusty, lackluster, just did not look like they gave a shit about the fucking game. It was horrific. Absolutely horrific. I know I'm giving everyone a whack after just 2 games, but you just have to. It was fucking horrific. It was disgusting. And as a result, we made Sydney, who, no offence to Sydney, everyone's saying, oh my God, look how scary Sydney look. They weren't even that good. They've got things that they could probably get better at. Easily. It's because we were so shit, we made them look good. Their defence was phenomenal, where every single time we just bombed it in there, and most of the time it was Pendlebury as well. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're the leader of this football club. Stop bombing it in. And then at his bloody halftime interview with Abby Holmes, he says, oh yeah, we're just bombing it in there. It was you, mate. You were doing most of it. I swear he was doing most of it. All the other guys were doing it as well, but I wonder bloody why. Because you're the leader. They're going to follow what you're doing, mate. Pendlebury and Moore have to lift from their performances. Maynard was acceptable enough as a leader, as, you know, from the leadership group. But still, even for his sake, just not physical enough. He did get more physical in the fourth quarter, probably after Craig McRae gave him a whack and said, you'll be playing VFL if you don't bloody apply pressure to those bastards. Like, bloody hell. Their defence, though, Lewis Malikan, Tom McCartan, yeah, they were really good at intercepting. But then again, it just wasn't in there. I didn't see Dane Rampy, Nick Blakey, Oliver Florent for the whole game. It was ridiculous. Or Jake Lloyd or Justin McInerney, except when he went forward. Chad Warner was ridiculously good, as you'd expect. He's a gun. And bloody hell, 30 touches, 3 goals. That is a free vote performance right there. Isaac Heaney was ridiculously good. Logan McDonald had a field day. Tom Papley got a little injured, but I'm sure he would have dominated us too. And then again, Maynard was probably playing on him, so then again, maybe not. Joel Marty just couldn't kick for shit, but apart from that, he was pretty good. Errol Goulden, you know, he responded. Rowbottom was ridiculous with his pressure. Grundy was quiet, and that pisses me off the most out of everything. Their best player, in my opinion, was their worst. That makes no sense, and it's just so frustrating. I've given everyone a whack. We need a response. This was supposed to be a game where we responded from a poor game. But now, and if we play like the way we played last night, we are not going to get anywhere near St Kilda. And I know we haven't seen St Kilda play yet this season, but we will not get anywhere near them. St Kilda will probably get like 5, 6, 7 lucky goals as well, because that's just the way bloody reality's working at the moment against us. We had all the luck, you know, winning close games, and now look at us. I know it's only 2 games in, but Craig McRae has got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do, indeed. If we play like that again, though, sure, like, you know, the coach is like, it's so good to see Craig McRae, you know, changing the positions around, you know, getting Howe forward, DeGoey forward, to try and give us something. But the problem started in the midfield. Just get some players that can spark us up, like Maynard or Markov or Schultz or McCreary, who have speed and have, you know, pressure. We just lack that, I feel, in the midfield, just with old legs of DeGoey and Pendlebury. I know it's really, really good sometimes, but it just wasn't last night against the Swans, young, slick midfield quicks. Yeah, just a disappointing game. Conceding 100 again, like, yeah, lots and lots of problems. I could probably keep rambling on, but I think I've rambled on enough. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my very brutal review. And fingers crossed that we can see a bit of a response and maybe even a win against St Kilda next week. And I do actually want to mention, you know, it's Spud's game, and it's such a privilege to play in that, you know, another big game for us to start the season. It's a privilege that the AFL's put us in to play on a Thursday night. I mean, mind you, it is a Thursday night. Frustrating, I know, but who cares? You know, it's a 6-day break yet again. We just got to find something. Now, I'm willing to say that we probably won't win that. Because if we play the way that we're playing at the moment, we're not going to win that. And I know Craig McRae doesn't like the term form, but we are out of form significantly. The whole team, except Nick Dacos and maybe Darcy Cameron. We haven't seen enough of Tom Mitchell, but hopefully he'll come back in. I personally think we should probably play Finlay McRae and maybe teach one of the senior leaders like Pendlebury or Sidebottom that, you can be dropped. You're good and you're a senior player and, we love you and all that, but we got some good young kids in here that probably should be playing. Ash Johnson as well, not good enough at all. But then again, can you really blame our forward line? We just couldn't get it in there. And when we did, we scored. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. And I'll see you guys next week when we verse St Kilda in Spud's game.